I'm Daniel Moore. Today for the third video in our CAD series, we'll be going over some of the toolbars in SolidWorks. Particularly, we'll be focusing on the toolbars that are present when we are creating a singular part. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and jump over to the computer and look at the toolbars that we have. If you want to follow along with SolidWorks open on your own computer, then please feel free to do so. If you would like to, but need a refresher on how to access SolidWorks, please see the first video lecture, the link to which is attached down in the comments. And then up above, we've got the Features toolbar, which deals with 3D modeling and edits. As well as right next to it, we've got the Sketch toolbar, which deals with two-dimensional drawings, setting up for the three-dimensional features. Also got an Evaluate toolbar for measurement tools. We've got additional MBD dimensions, etc., as well as a toolbar for general add-ons such as simulations for stresses, strains, thermal items, as well as opening up flow designs. We've also got toolbars for manufacturing, such as computer-controlled cams. Under the Features toolbar, the Extrude Boss Base tool allows you to create a sketch and then extrude that up into 3 dimensions, so you're creating material. Then there's other ways you can do that with revolutions and sweeps. By contrast, the Cut tool, which is one section over in that Features toolbar, takes away material, cutting holes into parts to various depths. You can also, from that same Features toolbox, you can also do 3D modifications to the parts you've added, such as curved fillets on edges or straight line chamfers. You can also mirror geometry, so essentially duplicate across a line or across a plane what you've already done. Then you can also create reference geometry such as planes and lines to help construct items. In addition to the basic extrusions, you also can do extrusions different ways, such as with revolutions, circular, sweeping along a line, doing a loft between surfaces. You can do the same thing in general with cuts as well. And then there's several other three-dimensional modification tools that you can use as well. Be it patterns, chamfers, shelling, so opening up, cutting away into the interior, etc. A bunch of different tools you can use to create just about any geometry you can imagine. For example, in addition, you have reference geometry such as the axis we just created, or a plane that you can say offset or coincident with the surface, And these can help you to set up sketches and stuff, such as we are doing now. So under the sketch toolbar, we can create a normal sketch on a surface, or we can create a 3D-dimensional sketch. We can dimension different drawing figures, lines, rectangles, etc. in that sketch with the Smart Dimension tool. We can also convert patterns from another face or something and offset it into our sketch. In the evaluation bar, we have tools such as the measure tool, which we can measure angles, lengths, area, volume, etc. with. Very useful tool, and we can customize the units as well, and to do so to various degrees of accuracy. We can evaluate other properties as well, such as for the object in general. We can evaluate curvature, etc. So there's a wide variety of different measurement and quick, simple analysis tools we can look at as well. And you have some additional tools in the other toolbars. Under the simulation, you can create different simulations, such as for buckling, just standard stress, strain, thermal, etc. You can also open up additional toolbars for other add-on packages. One of the ones we may frequently use is SolidWorks Flow Simulation. This takes a little while to open, and you may have to customize the toolbars a little to make sure that you get what you want. But the SolidWorks Flow Simulation toolbar is what we can use to do aerodynamic analysis on what we create. As I'm trying to kind of add one of the toolbars for flow simulation, you can kind of see how you can play around and edit what toolbars you actually see on that whole screen there. So all the toolbars are actually customizable as well. Up above, we've got the file tools. We can rotate the model by pushing down on a scroll wheel if you have an exterior mouse. You can also hold left click and drag and select. You can right click on faces, lines, etc. See properties. You can hit the space bar and it zooms out into this, where you can select different views. You've also got different appearance and view bars up above. So here you can select what you want to see be visible, what you don't want to see. For example, we can turn off reference geometry. We can see reference geometry. We can also change what the piece looks like, such as being see-through, looking like it has a solid appearance, or realistic appearance. Showing lines, not showing lines. Up there we can also see what we had with the space bar. You can also edit appearance. You can zoom. You can fit to view, so it just fits the piece to the frame. You can also select areas to zoom in with that second tool. So even if you don't have a scroll wheel to zoom in and out, or to press in on the scroll wheel and orbit around, you have a bunch of tools you can use. You can also add cross-sectional views at different positions and different angles, so that you can see what's going on in the interior, especially in hard-to-reach areas. And that can be quite useful as well in analysis and construction, and in adding other parts. Now down below you can also have additional aspects such as motion studies. One key aspect is that at the bottom right, you can edit units between different sets of units, and that's a good thing to do at the very beginning. Up above, again, we can save the document, and as we mentioned in the first video, you should save it, whatever you do on the drive, to the U drive, so you don't lose it. That little traffic light up there, kind of like if you make a change and you want to make sure that it carries the change forward and rebuilds, you do that. So make a change in that history over there, hit just to make sure it carries forward. Hitting that traffic light goes through and and essentially forces the program to step through the whole history of steps to rebuild the piece you're working on. You can also have additional document settings up there as well that you can go in and edit. In addition, there are a number of other tools up there as well. If we hit this side arrow here, there's a bunch of other tools as well. In addition to what we saw in the standard visible toolbars, there's additional tools here. If it's not in the standard toolbar that we talked about earlier, then be it features or sketch tools, they're probably in those upper bars. Particularly more specialized tools. You can also change the window around a little bit and minimize the window for documents, so you can actually work on more than one document at once in the same SolidWorks program window. You just have smaller windows in the program to work on different parts and drawings. So I know that was quite a lot to actually go through in only about 11 minutes. So on the board here, we'll go ahead and highlight some of the major aspects and areas of items, just to do a quick refresh and a more visual layout representation. As a quick review, go ahead and draw out a general format of where different types of tools are located in SolidWorks. So as a general layout, if this were our window, then up here we have a little arrow, and then buried in this arrow are toolbars with extra tools. Next to that we have our general document items, so document properties, file, save, etc. And in this region down below it, we have different toolbar sections. I'll just name the first three. The first one's going to deal with 3D items. The second one's going to deal with sketches. And then the third set is going to deal with measurements. And then you have additional add-on toolbars farther down. In this region over here, you're going deals with features, histories, so different lists here. In addition, you can toggle over and see other stuff such as properties. Down over in this top region here, you have zoom controls, you've got view controls, and you've got appearance controls. And then at the very bottom, you have a couple different things you can do, such as motion study and stuff. And at the bottom right, you can find units. And that's kind of the general layout of SolidWorks. We'll go ahead and leave this up, but what I'm going to do is, in a separate color here, I'm going to say that scroll wheel on a general mouse controls zoom and orbit. So orbit is where you rotate around, and you can also use, as a quick refresher, you can also use the space bar to zoom out and give you a set of different view options. That you can choose from around a geometric object. So that's what spacebar does. So I hope that this has been an informative video for you to help set up the next video, through which we will actually be starting to look at how to actually use the sketch tool and create two-dimensional entities in a parts document.